Yeah, this is a heavy topic for me. If you are someone who's falsely accusing someone, even currently right now or in the past, you deserve the full maximum security if you know that you're lying for the penalty that you're accusing that person of. Like, that makes no sense. It makes no sense whatsoever. So, November 20th of this year, yep, 2022. So there was this young kid named Bafana Sithole who was 17 years old who was actually accused of a heinous crime. One of his fellow learners, who she was 15 years old, decided to say that she was raped by this guy. So apparently Bafana Sithole was actually a pretty honorary student. He had awards, he had, I don't know, the medals and things of that nature, and he really didn't get into trouble. However, one of his fellow learners decided to accuse him of actually being raped. This brought like some real shame on this guy. They heard her story. This young kid who was 17 years old apparently went under extreme humiliation. He was stripped of his badges, he was stripped of honorary things and awards from the institution because this one individual decided to say that he assaulted her. With that being said, he actually left a detailed message to his mother for when she found it, on the way how he was feeling about the situation on everything else that was going on. And this is very upsetting. This is actually disgusting and it's disrespectful, especially for the young lady who actually made this accusation, which was apparently found out untrue. Actually, I will read some of Bafana's last words that he actually left for his mother in regards to this situation. Mama, I hope this letter finds you. By the time you're reading this, I'll be already gone. Let me love you and leave you. I've suffered in this world all alone. I was accused by those who are better than me. May she forgive me for what I did to her. I'm not a rapist. All right, so he also goes on to state that my problems are now solved in a long, peaceful sleep. Further down, he says, no one knew this day would come. I'm now leaving her in the darkest world and her sky will turn gray. May my tears be a golden memory in her life. May she never find peace in her life. Again, this is very sad because this was a 17-year-old kid who had a bright future. I mean, he was an honor roll student. He had awards, he had medals, and things were cut short for him because of a false accusation. This all could have been avoided. And apparently through the articles that I actually read, that everyone decided to believe her first because she yelled and said that that's what happened to her. No one would actually listen to this kid. This kid, no one heard his side of the story. Once the side of the story happened with this individual saying that this is what happened to her, there was no other way out for him, especially with something that's being so heinous and so disgusting of something like this. Now, don't get me wrong. This makes people who actually are true victims not want to be heard. How can someone be heard if someone is always going around falsely accusing and saying that this wasn't true? Actually, message. The reason why we're going to sit here and say false allegations, because you want to know what happened not too long after Bafana actually did a deletion? Creole High School learner Bafana Sithole did the unthinkable to himself with a tie in one of the classrooms where he actually were able to obtain keys from someone to go there after the accusation, of course. Once he did that, the girl later said she was just kidding. Guys, I'm gonna tell you right now, I've seen some things, especially when it comes down to court, whether it's family court or maybe if it's even domestic violence, even if it's false allegations just like this. So I've seen it where even when you're going out into court, where the judge, I'm not going to say this is 100% of the time, but as of right now, it's still like this, where the opposite gender, where it's a woman, the ears are perked up listening to them without any type of evidence being provided. And a man can have all of the evidence or have all of the things that's going on. Hold on, I dare even say they'll even let the woman speak most of the time and not even let the man actually get any type of words in. And you want to know what's the best representation for this? Right here. This is a perfect example right here when it goes to hashtag believe all women. Like, we got the press, we got the news. She said everybody's giving their attention. Everybody's focusing in. The courtrooms even are focusing in, especially not hearing the other side, because he said he's looking over there. He's trying to figure out like, hey, I got the proof. I got where I've been at. I got exactly everything right here to that nature, but nobody wants to listen. Nobody wants to hear this kid. This right here, this is where the Johnny Depps are right here. This is Bafana Sithole. This is other individuals such as Raymond Tyler and Bryan Banks. Raymond Tyler actually served 29 years for being falsely accused before he was actually dismissed on all charges left against him. And Bryan Banks, who served 5 years in prison, who was actually also falsely accused, who had a bright future ahead in his football career when it was just cut short on some false lies that was happening, on also being great. And you know what I'm starting to find too? That the women who actually do these kind of lies, they do not like the outcome that they didn't get when they were either dealing with that person. It's actually quite disgusting. Sometimes too, it'll just be a hate thing. There's definitely that. When some women are out here going out here making these type of accusations, there's a deeper story to it. And honestly, the people who are doing this, they are actually controlling. They want to be controlling. They actually want to be able to take hold and control the narrative, the situation, and control your life. They want you to bend the knee like they're fucking Daenerys out here. But we already know how that all turned out at the end. They decide to go mad. You want to go mad on yourself, that's fine. But now we have a 17-year-old by the name of Bafana, who is now, he really hasn't been talked about. However, the family has decided to come out and say that it is actually the school's fault that allowed this to happen. I mean, it's good to rightfully go after the school, because how did he get keys? How did he get access to do this and do this actually in the classroom? Where was the supervision? But you want to know what? It probably was because he had humiliation and everybody wanted to distance themselves from him. Can you understand what this young kid was going through? Bryan Banks was 17 years old before he actually ended up having to serve 5 years in prison because of false allegations. This is actually insane. My heart goes out to the Sithole family. I'm sorry that Bafana had to go through this. I've seen some things, and I've seen good people really suffer out here from a lot of liars, and it's actually very disheartening. And when you're dealing with any type of procedures, when it comes down to court and the government, it is a long process, and time continues to go on while the people who are lying and doing allegations falsely are just still living and breathing free. Think about all of the other people out here who may be falsely accused, going through so many trials, going through so many times, losing their life, which time is the currency, behind bars right now. This truly annoys me. It breaks my heart, actually. There's a lot of good people that actually are suffering in silence. And we talk about mental health, men's mental health, which gets laughed at. It gets censored because a lot of people don't even know about this story. When we do talk, we get made fun of. When we don't talk, we need to express more. We gotta go through so much bullshit that goes on between the allegations or anything when it comes down to courts, especially when it comes down to family. You know, it's just very disgusting. So I don't really know what else all to say when it comes down to this, because this shit was just fucking sad. It's just sad. And 17 years old, man. And that's about it, man. Keep it classy.